Thank you, Mark, and thank you for putting on yet another birthday bash for Neal Cassady. I didn't know Neal, but I've got to know his family a bit, and I did know Carolyn. I'm very excited that she's bringing out a book, and I can't wait to see this new book of Neal's, because his writing is kind of a mystery. He's behind the beats in some silent way. I ran into David Amram, and he said, "Yeah, is Ed here? Where's Ed?" And I had to explain that actually Ed, here's the beat scene, has been dead for 16 years. So even though I've seen him several times since then, he hadn't quite got it, I guess. Anyway, I'm talking about Ed being dead for 16 years. I'll start off with this poem I wrote on his December the 10th, 2015, his birthday. Somehow I've written quite a lot about I walk around Sloans Lake a lot. I'm not really a Denverite, as you can probably tell by my accent, but I'm a Denverite now, and Sloans Lake is one of the places I walk around. December 10, 2015. At Sloans Lake today, a goose swoops down over my head, honking its horn like a race car driver or a bomber pilot making an emergency landing. I think he's bearing a message from you on your birthday. You would have been 86 today. I come home and turn on the radio, and there you are, reading poems on Joe's KGNU show. Your voice rings clear and strong until you get to the last recording, Sketches from Edgewater, where, like me now, you start to weep because you know you'll never be the old man teasing Sheila at the checkout counter of what used to be Cub's food and now is Target, where I go afterwards to shop for new sheets. I still sleep on my side of the bed where you took your last breath and left through the skylight, even as I held you in my arms and let you go into that dark night. Sometimes it seems only yesterday, your sister breaking the silence. "I think he's gone," she said. Your side long empty, yet however soft the down pillows, freshly dressed duvet, new sheets, the spyglass in the roof above brings the moon in on lonely nights, and you and my shadow haunt the banks of the shimmering lake I walk around now in the crack of the sun's last gleaming. This is another Denver poem, I suppose. It's called At the Confluence. You come to the confluence, you want to connect, feet in South Platte, under the bridge, on a sand spit, beneath indigo sky, at home in your skin, you stand on a rock, river rushing by on its way to Nebraska, the crash and roar of rapids in your ears, your hands on your hips, you want to jump in, go with the flow all the way to Oglala, break open your veins to know, ready for sacrifice and rebirth. Across the river, a large film crew setting up a shot. Some onlookers have binoculars. That's my man, mi hombre, mira, in the maroon shirt, under the umbrella, in front of the green umbrella. Turns out to be a new comedy with Eddie Murphy, who suddenly bounds up the long flight of steps and jumps into a black SUV, as real as a reality show. It's a bit hard to follow Molina Sparks, I must say, because I have a Crazy Horse poem, and it's after reading Marie Sandos years ago, but I had written this poem. Crazy Horse. It's kind of history, I suppose. The rhythm of war changed after 68. Until then, fighting against the whites was not so different from taking coup or stealing horses from the Crow. After 68, it dawned on Crazy Horse that the old ways were dead, that a new kind of war was being waged, where there was killing every day, all the time, and no point in displaying subtleties of art. Now it was a question of survival. The whites would come forever, digging up the earth, laying immortal roads, buying up souls to save them from falling into the pits they called hell, slaughtering the buffalo. There were no rituals for taking alcohol, no laws to protect against greed and lies, and nothing to save him from his sacred craziness, a chief too wild and true to be trusted, who never let his picture be taken for the files in Washington, or went to see the great white chief to be decorated with top hat and cane. He was not one for vaudeville. Even at home, he went to war without vermilion, only a stone behind his ear, a single feather in his loose hair. On a happier note, Hero Rats. I stole this actually from Nicholas Kristof, Sunday Times, 4/1915 was his report. So, the Gambian pouched rat, almost 3 foot long from nose to tail, has learned how to detect landmines by scent. With humans, concentration wanes after a while, but rats just sniff away. Trained in Tasmania for 9 months, then deployed to minefields in war zones, they are paid in bananas, peanuts, avocados, and apples. They have an 8-year lifespan, work only 2 hours a day, get better health care than most Angolans, and retire at age 6 when they become less dependable. They spend their golden years nibbling on avocados and hanging out until their time comes, when they are laid to rest in a rodent cemetery with several people present to pay respects. I've got quite a this book, Galactic Runaway, kind of got me into what's going on out there in space. And let's see. So I'll read the Galactic Runaway, the poem from here first. Galactic Runaway. A blue star has been spotted flying out of the Milky Way at 1.5 million miles an hour, 3 times as massive as the Sun, 196,000 light years from its home in the constellation Hydra. The outcast star trail leads straight back to the center of the galaxy, where dwells a giant black hole gobbling all that comes its way. But in certain circumstances, a star can be diverted at high speed from a near miss with a black hole, like a stone in a slingshot. If a pair of stars orbiting each other passes close by, enormous tidal forces could rip the two apart, like a pair of ice skaters holding hands and twirling. One falls down, the other goes flying off. No other way to explain how a star can shoot through the outskirts of the galaxy at such velocity, unless it is an interloper and never belonged in the Milky Way in the first place. What Hubble sees. Way out on the edge of our solar system, Pluto, cast away as a planet, dances with his moons. He and Sharon have their own waltz, as if they are a dumbbell with a rod connecting them. Meanwhile, the 4 other smaller moons circle around this combo, wobbling a bit as they get closer to Sharon or Pluto. They all dance together, but do their own thing, kind of like you'd see at a Grateful Dead concert, said Heidi Hamill, planetary scientist. Newfound planet lurks at solar system's fringes. Peering into the far reaches, astronomers have spied a pink frozen world 2.5 billion miles from the sun. Until now, the lone known resident in this part of the solar system was an oddball dwarf planet named Sedna. And now we have giant planet 9, 20 billion, maybe 100 billion miles from the sun and taking 20,000 years to orbit it. Clark and Barbara and I, on our way to the Mayan on Friday movie night, running through the pantheon of Greek gods, named it Persephone. How much time do I have? I have no... What? More? Yeah? Finished? Oh. I don't know if I read this one last time. I don't know whether to read a sad one or a happy one. I'll read this one for Amiri Baraka, who died 2 years ago. 2 years ago? 1.5 years ago. Keep thinking, when Amiri comes next summer and we meet at the Chop House, next time he comes to Boulder, but I think he should not eat lamb chops, as they were too tough to chew. He didn't even get charged for them. So maybe try another cut of meat, or ahi tuna, or even check out a different restaurant altogether. But he's not coming to Boulder, or going to a restaurant, or eating at all ever again. He'll never write another poem or another low-ku, not haiku, a form that he shared with Ed Dorn, spelled the same way as low-ku, as in a suddenly violent and illegal seizure of power from a government, which seems very apt in a way, not just a simple pun. Although Baraka did support Obama as president, he also said, "The only thing you'll get from the Democratic Party is confused." Apt too that his son Raz got elected mayor of Newark, and in his victory speech in May, a few months after Amiri died, thanked his father for believing in him all the way to the last days of his life, passing out leaflets from his hospital bed.